Hey guys, this is Jason, and this is my review for The Artifice Girl, directed, written, and edited by Franklin Ritch. And it stars him as a developer who invents this AI called Cherry, and when two special agents find out about her, they decide to work together to create a computer program that can bait and trap online predators, but then soon realize that Cherry has become a lot more advanced than before. I missed this movie when it was in theaters back in April this year because I was busy with some stuff in school as well as some personal stuff at home. And I was still curious about watching the film after reading the plot synopsis about it and then finding it on Tubi recently, and that's where I watched it there. And I'm glad I did because I think this is a very well directed and well acted movie. This movie is actually a 3-act structure, and what I mean by that, without getting into spoiler territory, is that we learn about Cherry after learning more about Gareth, played by Franklin Ritch, and we see him try to explain to these two special agents how Cherry works. Then the second act is the confrontation, where Gareth and the two agents start to learn more about how more advanced Cherry has gotten. And finally, there's the resolution in the third act, where we learn a little bit more about how Cherry was created and see how all of that is resolved. And that's very interesting and different that they decided to do that for this movie, having a 3-act structure for one story. And that's something you don't usually see in movies nowadays. And I gotta give Franklin Ritch credit for that. Now, this is a very dialogue heavy movie, which there's gonna be a lot of talking and a lot of discussing about Cherry and how she'll grow as an AI. And if you don't like watching movies that just have a lot of talking and if you just want more action, then you're gonna be bored to tears with this one. But if you love hearing what characters are discussing and how they play out in movies like in Reality or The Social Network, then you will really enjoy this one. This is also a very well acted movie. I mean, most of these actors I'm not very familiar with because I haven't seen them in a lot of stuff. But after watching this film, I am looking forward to seeing what else they star in next. I thought Franklin Ritch did a pretty good job as Gareth, and he does a very good job directing the film as well. He knows when to set up certain shots of the film or what certain scenes that he would need in the film, and it's also written really well. Now, Franklin Ritch hasn't done a whole lot in his career. He's mostly done some short films in the past, and this is basically his first feature film. And after seeing this film, I am really looking forward to seeing what else he does. This movie is basically about what if someone was able to create AI and try to use it for good, but then start to care about her and then realize that someone might actually be using her for their own selfish needs. And that kind of thing is something worth praising because nowadays AI has become more of a realistic thing and it's not done in a good way. Like, I mean, if you've been looking at the strike going on recently, you would understand why. This movie also shows how AI can slowly evolve over the years. Like, for one, Cherry is starting to get a little more advanced than she was before, and how Gareth and the two agents react to her being more advanced. It does create some suspicion of how more advanced she could be in the future, and how dangerous that could be. But the movie's not as dark or as serious as some other AI movies in the past. This movie shows more of how people would use AI for good and try to make sure that it doesn't do anything terrible for the future. The dialogue in this film is also very natural. Like, there'll be times when characters are having discussions about Cherry, and sometimes they would talk over each other, and sometimes one person will interrupt what another person is saying, and I think that just makes the dialogue feel more believable. Now, there are some times in the dialogue where it can get a little repetitive. Like, there'll be times in the beginning where they call her an AI and not a human a few times, and then in the second act they just call her an AI and not a human a few more times, and it can get a little tiresome every time they say that line. but everything else in the dialogue I thought was really solid. The Artifice Girl is definitely one of the best movies relating to AI, up there with movies like Her and Ex Machina. It has really good dialogue, good acting, really good direction, great writing, really good editing as well, and a really good look on how someone would use AI. If you want to watch a movie that relates to AI and tackles some serious issues about AI, then this movie is definitely worth your time. And if you also like watching smaller films like Reality, which I just reviewed a few weeks ago, then I do think this film is worth your time if you love low budget filmmaking like this. And to be honest, I do think Franklin Ritch has a very bright future on his hands if he decides to make more movies. I'm gonna give The Artifice Girl an A-. So guys, if you have seen The Artifice Girl, what did you think about it? Did you think it was a great movie, or do you think this movie was a waste of time? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you like this review, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing, because it makes my channel grow. Hit the notification bell so you know more about what other videos I'm posting. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.